keep the language clean?
No, don't worry about that.
Okay, good to know.
And we're on, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this. Welcome for the first time to our Quebec radio show. I'm going to introduce yourself. Who the hell are you?
Thank you, merci. My name is Devin Martiniuk, and I am a guitarist, I suppose, and songwriter for a new group to most people called Before and Apace. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you on the show, guys. For people that never heard the project, how that crazy idea started up.
I don't even know. It's been so long. I'm an old guy now, and I've been thinking about this project since I was literally a teenager. It's been over 20 years in the making. So how did it start? Damned if I know. I've loved music my whole life. Started playing when I was younger, and by the time I was about 16, I was like, I want to do a band. And I've been in many over the years, but this has always been the one I wanted to do the most. This is my baby, and yeah, just wanted to do it forever, as long as I can remember.
It's cool because you took experience being, in bands and bringing all that together in a project that you always wanted to do for so many years. And imply that, you involve a lot of energy in that project. And it's great, man, because, the result is amazing. So is it more easy for you since you create almost everything, or is it something really hard? Because when you're in a band, there's a lot of compromise.
Nothing about it has been easy. I shouldn't say nothing. The timeline has been crazy. We just released the album literally yesterday, and some of the riffs originated in the early 2000s. So the hard parts have been that I guess I've set a high bar for what should be accepted as a Before and Apace riff or tune or idea. And had I left it to my own devices, this album probably would never have been made. It was only until my bandmates kind of came onto the scene and pushed me towards finishing stuff, and it wasn't just me. They contributed a hell of a lot to getting the songs wrapped up. I had a bunch of great ideas and a bunch of partially composed songs. Some were in their infancy, just a seed of an idea. Others were 85, 90% finished, and it took collaboration for them to finally wrap up. So the hard part, I suppose, was the learning that you can't just rely on the inspiration to get it all done. There's the hard work you got to put into it. So that was the hard part.
Yeah, but I repeat myself, the album is really good, and we felt that you put everything you got in it, and that you are having mostly fun doing it, and that's the most important thing.
It's a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, making this music is one of the biggest joys of my whole life. Like I said, I've been in other bands. None of them have been my band. I've always been in other people's bands. And while they've been enjoyable, like, this is my true passion, this kind of music. And so, yeah, when it's clicking, when it's rolling along, it is fun. It's nothing but fun.
And it's gonna be really interesting because the pandemic, what it brings is that people got more aware of what's happening around them. They were more curious about music because they had more time, and I think it really helped discovering maybe a new generation of band. That maybe wouldn't have that chance. And since in metal, the old one's gonna leave sooner or something. It's the new band.
It's hilarious to be thought of as a new band. Like I said, this project is ancient. We actually finished recording the album in 2013. Mixing was done the year later. Mastering was done a year after that. Like, it's been such a slow plod through this process that to be thought of as a new band that's emerging in the pandemic is hilarious, because we played our last live show like 7 years ago. It's funny that we're a new band because, yeah, this is our first emergence onto the scene, but this project has just languished forever. So to the point that, I'm encouraged that that we'll come out of this with some momentum, and the next album hopefully won't take 20 years. I've already got a lot of material planned, and I'm here in my studio right now for those that have video, and I'm well underway for the next one. So hopefully before too long we'll have another one coming up. But don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm gonna enjoy this moment for the time being.
Yeah, that new old records, but it's a beautiful story, and laugh about it in many, many years, telling, because of the pandemic, we finally released it, and people thought it was the new thing, the new stuff, and
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah, it's been an interesting experiment exactly for that reason. Like I said, some of the riffs originated literally 20 years ago, like early 2000s, '02 for sure, some of the content. So the question was, like, when it became a running joke that this album was taking forever to finish and get out there, the question was, like, how is it going to age? Presenting it like it's a new album, but the ideas are kind of old, and I don't know. I'm happy with it to this day, and I think it's aged well for being a new album, which is a hilarious concept.
Yeah, because what the timeline is that day one since the release for the songs, or you take the songs year by year, and
Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious.
So, I remember myself right now it's really working well, but it's really diverse and everything. And I think when the pandemic is going to be done, there's going to be a lot of people attempting to shows and want to see that because now they know the band. And I don't know if you felt that there was way more people ready to a new album and everything.
Yeah, the whole concept of playing live again is a really murky one right now. Not only are we still in the middle of this pandemic, hopefully to be out of it soon enough, but even once we're out of it, the band as it existed for this record is actually unlikely to appear in the same state going forward. This project began as like my project, kind of in like the Devin Townsend vein, where he's doing almost all the composition, and he puts together the pieces around him to make an album. Now that wasn't originally the concept. I very much wanted it to be a band, but some interpersonal stuff happened, and the lineup as it was for this album is probably not going to appear going forward exactly as it was. But I'm going to piece together a newish lineup, and it might include some of the existing members and resurrect a live act at some point. It's a weird time, like having a new album that I can't promote in a live setting for two reasons. Like, number one, there's no shows happening around here anyway. Number two, I don't even really have a band to back it up at the moment, but it's not going to discourage me. I'm going to pick it up, and like I said, I'm only chipping away at new material, so hopefully we can bring it to stages and give it a proper kind of send-off, this current album that's being released. And yeah, I'd love to perform this again someday.
Yeah, and I hope you so, because I really felt when I listened to the songs that live it can bring something more.
Yeah, we had a blast playing this live before we ever knew what these songs sounded like. Like, to me, I'm almost a little bit backwards. A lot of musicians live for the live performance, and to some, the studio experience is a drag. They don't want to be cooped up. They don't want to be pouring over the little minutia. And I'm an introvert. I'm a basement dweller. I love that sort of thing. I like thinking of music as like a painting that you can kind of revisit over time and add and subtract and adjust until you have the picture you're looking for. It's not that I don't like live. I love playing live as well, but I live more for crafting it in the like recording state. But when we were playing live, it was a trip. It was an amazing experience. We didn't cover all of Canada or all of North America. We stayed within Saskatchewan when we were in our touring period, and really didn't even tour. We played a bunch of local shows and went to Regina once. Like, it was very, very small. But I think that for the small number of people that we got to perform for, because Saskatchewan's not all that big, I think we were well received. I think there were certainly some people that were at the show, to see the other band or whatnot, and I'm sure we didn't resonate with everybody, but there was definitely some people that we connected with, some people that were into what we were doing, and I think we really connected with some people for sure. So looking forward to that again.
We see the studio, as you say, you really try to, you're a perfectionist in the song that you have in your mind and everything, and it really felt that to the record that you bring, that technical thing that you got when you work in a studio way more than just going in the weekend on the studio to,
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you that in my mind, in some ways, I am a perfectionist. Like I like starting with the vision, and then the journey getting there is it's an awesome one, and it's just filling in the details because the vision is kind of already in my mind. And so in that way, I'm a perfectionist. I want to perfect the vision, but in other ways, not a total perfectionist, because I was just listening to the track today actually, and realizing like, oh damn, like my playing's way on top of the beat, which it always is, and I was like, I could have done another take, but I wanted to preserve some live feeling, and even in the mixing, like we could have used sound replacement tools on all the drums, for example. Make it sound really modern, really big, really punchy and upfront, and we decided not to do that. There's literally one part that has some kick reinforcements, but everything else is like there's nothing sequenced, no sound replacement in Pro Tools. We wanted it to sound kind of like when we performed it, like it's an organic sound we were going for. So there's still errors in it because of that. Sometimes the toms don't sound as punchy and upfront as they could, or the guitars are a little loose, and that's my bad. But but I think we got the vision we were hoping for. It feels organic, and I didn't think that a more modern, kind of colder production style would have suited the music well. So in some ways, I embrace the imperfections.
Yeah, when it's well done, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I buy into that old argument that, at least with my musical journey, I listen to my share of metal for sure, but also a ton of non-metal stuff, and what I latch onto about a recording or a live performance, just music in general, is often those imperfections. I love picking them out. I mean, one of my first favorite bands when I was 11 years old was Guns N' Roses, and all sorts of cool little Slash or Izzy Stradlin string noises and weird little Axl vocalizations that are maybe imperfect but memorable. And it's not just Guns N' Roses. That was an early one where I noticed these little imperfections and oddities, and just love that. So yeah, I think it was purposely, some of those things were left in, and I think it works.
You're right. Maybe the problem sometimes with metal is people think you have to be perfect, and it's not the case, and that's what I love about the early Iron Maiden. When you listen to Iron Maiden, the bass is shredding. It doesn't sound like that perfect bass and everything, but that's bring the kind of chaos, and the rest that is, really good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm old. I'm 41 now, so like shit. A lot of my formative years were early to mid 90s, and that's when everything was done to tape still, and Pro Tools was only becoming a weird little blip on the radar of most bands. But it led to imperfections. It led to the sound maybe not being perfect in every case. So yeah, in some respects, like I think it was the first Tesseract album. Love the music, But the production, it just doesn't grab me. It's too perfect, too clean, and I think that's fair to say of a number of metal acts these days, especially like the gent stuff. I can only listen for so long. Like I'm a math guy and a music guy, so I love the genre, but the production style is it can wear on me a little bit. Again, it's probably just me showing my age, though.
And it's cool. You're really open minded about music, and I'm too. I listen to a lot of stuff, and I think as a musician, and the most interesting musician are the one that are aware of kind of everything, because I think that in every style you're gonna love something. Just have to dig and find if you like it fast or you like it slow, whatever.
No question. Yeah, like reading about my favorites, it always seemed that they would have a huge collection of influences that weren't in the genre that they were, and that's certainly true of all of us in the band that made our debut record. I don't even think, well, maybe Kalen, the bass player, he's predominantly a metal guy, and the rest of us are not predominantly metal. We all listen to our share of it, but for as much as I'll put on a Gojira record, I'm listening to Kishi Bashi, who's like this really eclectic violin player, or was it viola? One of the two, but certainly not metal in any way, and that influences me just as much.
And that's cool. That's cool because it bring a lot in the band to be open mind.
Yeah, for sure. That said, like obviously, like if you listen to the record that we made, it's the heavy influences are undeniable. That's the main genre, the main vein that I like to write in. And shit, even that it stems from like the formative years, right? I thought about this recently, where I kind of realized that when you're trying to communicate something to somebody, it just means more if you set it to music, and so that's part of what I like to do in this project. But the way that has always hit home the most has been with heavy music. There's just, it's so much fire, like so much passion. You really fucking mean it when it's got some double kicks to it.
What impressed me is that it evolved much over the years, because it's metal is not old. If you take jazz or other style of music, so it's interesting to see that it was a huge wave in the 90s. It kind of slowly fade, and then I think it's gonna be another huge wave, because before pandemic everything was really really good. Even like the old band that maybe didn't work as big as Metallica or Slayer or Megadeth. Like if you take Halloween, and they're getting their share of it. They're getting their huge fan base now in festival and everything. It's cool to see the evolution and where it's going right now, because there's so much subgenre. It's so geek.
Yeah, I can't even catch up and keep up with every subgenre. So I just bow out. I can't even play that game. And I'm not even sure, like, if I would call us metal per se. Like, I guess maybe I set the bar at like the death metal, and we're certainly not that. But hell, if someone called Jimi Hendrix metal once, or Led Zeppelin, then fair enough, I'll embrace it.
I love that you bring a lot in the band, and yeah, and congratulations. For people interested in that project, how's the best way to directly encourage you guys?
So we've just kind of hit the social media scene a little more. Not full on. I'm not a big social media guy, but we have a Facebook page, and it's there that I'm putting any sort of updates. So the last few weeks have been the release of our first single called Ontogeny, and just yesterday, as of this recording, May 11th was the release date of our full-length debut album. And so Facebook is where I've been putting the announcements. I think it's facebook.com/ B, the letter B, and then the number 4, Apace. Just Google it, Before the Pace Facebook. We're also on Bandcamp, and that's because we're independent. That's kind of our main way to distribute everything. So the album is now officially available for digital download or streaming. And also there's an option to purchase physical as well. Been doing mail-outs this week. We did a very small run, 200 CDs, and that's all that exists. So if anyone is interested in some physical swag and tickle your ear holes a bit, check us out there. So yeah, it's beforeandapace.bandcamp. I can tell you right away, actually. Actually, no, I can't. But anyway, Before the Pace, Bandcamp, you'll find us.
Yeah, cool. And people, if you can, of course, go grab something. And seriously, thank you for your time. I really dig that project. I like it. Hope to see you around Quebec when everything's gonna get back to normal with a new lineup. And congratulations again.
You're far too kind. It really means a lot. Really, thank you for having me on. Merci beaucoup.
Ça fait plaisir. Seriously, thank you. And you know, when they say, you know, keep your dreams, man, you did. You keep that, man. And congratulations. It's not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it.
Here. Yeah, thanks. It's been a long dream, but a good one nonetheless. Hope the next one's a little shorter and I can have something else before too long. So thanks again.
Yeah, because I like it. I want to hear more. So don't wait that much of times, my friend.
Awesome. Much appreciated. That really means a lot.
Thank you so much. Make sure I keep you posted about when I hear the interview. Like I said, I'm going to put it on YouTube. And of course, we're going to hear the interview on the radio show. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Cheers.